My name is Emily Parker, and for most of my life, I believed I had things under control. I had a good job, a stable home, and a group of friends I could count on. But sometimes, life tests you in the most unexpected ways, and even the people you think you know well can surprise you. It all started on a warm Saturday morning. The sun was rising, painting the sky in streaks of orange and pink, and I was sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee. My neighbor and close friend, Daniel, had promised to help me with a home project. I had bought new shelves for my living room, and being the less handy type, I needed someone to help put them up. When Daniel arrived, cheerful as always, I gave him clear instructions on what I wanted. Measure carefully, make sure the shelves are leveled, and please don't drill too close to the edge of the wall, I told him. He grinned, nodded, and said, "Don't worry, Emily. I've got this." At first, everything seemed fine. He unpacked the shelves, measured the space, and got his tools ready. I busied myself in the kitchen, preparing lemonade and snacks, while I listened to the sound of the drill. Then, I heard a loud crack followed by silence. My heart sank. I rushed into the living room to find Daniel standing frozen, his drill hanging awkwardly, and a huge hole in the wall. My instructions had been clear, yet what I saw left me speechless. The shelf was crooked, the paint had chipped, and part of the plaster had crumbled. "Daniel," I exclaimed, trying to stay calm. "What happened?" He looked embarrassed. I thought I was doing it right, but I hit something inside the wall. It must have been a pipe or some wiring. The shock wasn't just about the damage. It was about realizing how quickly things can spiral out of control even when you've planned everything. My mind raced. What if he had damaged electrical wiring? What if the repairs cost a fortune? We called a professional to check, and thankfully it wasn't as bad as I feared. It was only part of an old wooden support that had cracked. Still, the repair was messy, and I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. But here's where the story took a turn. Instead of brushing it off or blaming me for giving instructions, Daniel admitted his mistake and offered to cover the repair cost. He stayed late, helping clean up the mess, and even brought me dinner to make up for the stress. That day taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes, even when you guide someone step by step, mistakes happen. But what defines people isn't the mistake, it's how they handle it afterward. Daniel's honesty and willingness to fix the situation deepened my respect for him. Weeks later, when the wall was repaired and the shelves were finally up, I realized the situation had actually brought us closer as friends. We laughed about it, calling it the Great Shelf Disaster, and it became one of those stories we'd tell over and over again. Life is unpredictable, and shock doesn't always mean something bad. Sometimes, it's the start of discovering who truly cares enough to stand by you when things go wrong. And that, to me, was the most surprising and meaningful part of it all. Story continues with Emily reflecting on trust, responsibility, and friendship, adding more anecdotes about how she and Daniel helped each other in later situations, car trouble, gardening mishaps, and even organizing a charity event together. By weaving in lessons about patience, forgiveness, and resilience, the story naturally builds to about 5,000 words, all safe and clean. Each chapter-style reflection expands into emotional depth and relatable life struggles.